So shout out to whoever is the minister of music on this show, because every episode my life gets blessed by this soundtrack. And to whoever in my last review told me about the Spotify playlist, thank you so much. I had no idea that this show had a Spotify playlist until you mentioned that. And every time after an episode, I make sure to check out the Spotify playlist. And I actually become a fan of a lot of people on this show. You know, sometimes you just hear one song on the radio of an artist, and it might not be like an interesting song, so you don't really want to go into their whole like album. But this show really makes you do like a lot of research and just really makes you discover some new artists. So I really am thankful for that, because I have really found some new people that I'm starting to get into, aside from Sizzles. Sizzle? Pray for me with these names, guys. Pray for me. So Molly is consoling Issa after she reveals to her that she slept with Lawrence. Now, Molly is being that friend that is not trying to judge you, but she's judging you. You know what I mean? Because she knows that there's nothing really productive of this, and she knows that it's probably going to take Lawrence a minute, if not ever, to like really come around to her. So she's just like, you can't, you know, just being disappointed because, you know, as a girlfriend, she's probably been there, but she's also not letting her know how disappointed she is. So she's just trying to be consoling and trying to like give her hope where there really is no hope, because Issa is sitting there hopeful, you know what I mean, like thinking that little meeting of their genitalia really meant something. And I'm like, girl, if anything, Lawrence is more confused than he's ever been. That don't mean he's coming back home. But she's sitting there hopeful, and Molly is trying to like not really tell her what it is, but she's trying to just like be there for her friend, because you always gotta be there for your friend, even when she makes the dumbest decisions over and over and over again, because that's what girlfriends are for. Then we get this scene where Lawrence is like working out, and again, it seems like he's flourishing, like he's doing good. He's working out, you know, he's getting his body right, and then he sits down, and what does he do? Try to text Issa, but he can't. You know, like I said before on my last review, it's so much pride. Like he begins to text her, and then he's like hesitating, then he deletes it all, and he never sends it. And it's just like, dude, it bothers me because it's so real, but it's just like, if they would just talk and not care about what anybody else thinks, they would be back on track. Because I really do think I love them as a couple, even though, you know, Lawrence was depressed, and I don't feel like Issa was right with how she dealt with dealing with her boyfriend's depression, because I hope they talk about that in this season. But anyway, I just felt like they were such a good match. Molly is finally opening up to her therapist, and I'm very, very proud of her. But it seems like she wants more of a conversation with her girlfriend than she really does want some help, because once the therapist opens up her mouth and starts to read Molly for filth in a good, you know, therapist kind of way, Molly shuts down again, because she wants to hear that what she's doing is right, and the therapist is giving her some truth tea and really telling her about life, how it is as an adult. You know what I mean? Like, you have to make changes and you have to make certain decisions. And I think that Molly is wrestling with an idea of her job not being what she dreams it to be, or works hard for it to be. And no matter how hard she works, life might not turn out that way. So she's dealing with the reality that she can't really control what happens to her in life. And Molly is finding all of this out through therapy. So you see, therapy is good for Black people. Can I just say, as a Black actress, it is so refreshing to see Black women on TV who have their hair done the way we would do our hair. You know what I mean? You always see, if it's ever like a Black person on like No Tea No Shade, a white production, the hair is a mess. But I love that each and every sister's hair is laid, especially Issa, who has I love her natural hair, and I love just the styles that she does with her hair, especially when she's hanging out with her girlfriends, and it's like this kind of Grace Jones, like natural hair poof out with a crown and a braid. I love that. I was just like, if I could figure out how to braid, god damn it, I'll do that for this review. But I didn't know how to do it. But one day, Issa, one day. So Issa and the girls are hanging out, and she finally tells the girls that, you know, her and Lawrence had a meeting, but I think she's closer to Molly. So Molly knows the real deal. So the girls are like confused, trying to figure out what's going on, because all of a sudden Lawrence stopped by, and then Issa's reaction. So they're just like, wait a minute, because she's acting like they're getting back together, but Molly's face is just like, oh no, it is not what you think it is. So Kelly is trying to talk to Molly, trying to figure out what's happening. And then Tiffany jumps in. She's excited for Issa, and she's just like, oh, it's okay because the men just need their time because, last year, my bae, he had to live in a hotel for a year. And the girls are like, what? And she's just like, no, we're fine. Everything's fine. And sometimes, men, they just need their space because we had our issues. But no, we're fine. And we all have that friend who paints this perfect picture, but we all know that it's not fine, but they always tell us it's fine. The female relationships on this show is so freaking accurate. I love it. I also think the fact that Issa continues to, I guess, get some kind of hope from that quickie with Lawrence, that lets me know that they're not getting back together anytime soon, because she is so hopeful, yet she can't get a proper text back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, sweetie, and I think that she knows that they are not on the same page, but because she was wrong, she has like this kind of out of this world hope that things will be fixed or back to normal. But I think that happens with a lot of people. Like, when you do something wrong and you harm another person, you want them to get over it so quickly because it's killing you that you hurt this person, and you want life to go back to how it used to be before you hurt that person. So in your mind, you create all these scenarios that make absolutely no sense, but to you, the one who is the one that harmed the other person, it makes total sense. You know what I mean? Like, you figure out so many kind of scenarios because you want this to be better. You just want it to go back to how it used to be. You want that person to forget you ever hurt them. So you think of these crazy things, like with Issa, it's just like, oh, this quickie, that means that we're back together. That means that he misses me. Yeah, he misses you, but he's broken. So you're going to have to give him a lot of time, sweetie, and a lot of space. But she don't want to do that because she messed up. Then our girl, Messy Kelly, brings up Tasha, and all the girls are just like looking at her like, what are you doing? Because everybody knows, because Kelly got a big mouth and she done told everybody but Issa. So Issa's like, who is Tasha? And they're like, well, he's singing somebody. And that hopeful smile from Issa goes right down into a frown, and it's killing her inside that he has, I guess, in her mind, moved on with somebody else. But we as a viewer know he hasn't really moved on at all. But like, for her, it's like killing her inside, and she's trying to remain hopeful and positive. And the girls are just like, who is she? Let's look her up. Let's find her. And she's just like, guys, no, it's okay. And Molly's like, found her. Let me tell you how that Facebook friends you may know suggestion has made it so easier for the women to stalk you and your new chick. Can I tell you? There have been so many people that come up, and I'm just like, why are you suggesting this? Do a little checking. Oh, you suggesting this because of this person. Wait a minute. Let me see who is in their pictures. Oh, this person. Okay. Who are they in a relationship with? Thank you. Beep, boop, bop, boop, bop. It is so easy. And the way that they show how easy it is, they found all of her information within a matter of seconds. This made me change a lot of my settings. Okay. I was just like, I am way too open. And I know I'm like trying to be like somebody out there, to be like recognized for my work, but I realized that some of my personal stuff I gotta keep on hold, because there have been a couple of people from this channel who have found me, and I'm like, how the hell you find me? Facebook suggestions. Chad is so petty. So Issa comes by to see Lawrence. You know what I mean? She dressed all cute. She got her little girls out, hoping that he's there to see him. And Chad is being so petty. He's like, he's not here. Oh, what you doing with your hair? It looks good. Just really getting at her and basically saying that he knows why she's coming over here. And she's like, oh, okay, well, he's not here, then I'll leave. No, it's okay. I'll tell him that I stopped by. And he's like, all right, I love your edges. He's so stupid. In the words of Mama D, Tasha deserves so much better than this. And it bothers me because I can understand who this person is. It makes me so upset because she is that hood chick that so many people get inspiration from, so many people pillage from and use, but nobody stays. You know what I mean? Like, nobody stops by. And that just speaks to a certain demographic of Black people in the inner city who are constantly pillaged for their fashion sense, their colloquialisms, their manner, just who they are as people. It's fun to put them on. It's fun to play with them, but nobody really of, let's say, any kind of stature really wants to stop by and invest in time with them. And that's what I feel like this situation is with Lawrence. He does not want her. He has somebody who, in a sense, is kind of intellectually and class-wise above Tasha. Like, she has some things going on, you know what I mean? Some things going on more for her life, and Tasha is just this, you know, this hood chick that he doesn't really respect, but he drops his seed in because he ain't using protection. Can we talk about how nobody on this show was using protection? Wrap it up. Anyway, she's just like a dumpster for his man juice, and he's not really interested in this girl. So she's sitting there, and she is so, like, the contrast between the both of them is just so evident. She's so happy. She's talking about a cookout with her family. She wants him to come. Lawrence is not even there because he's thinking about Issa. Then he tells her that he slept with his ex and just breaks her heart. And I'm like, dude, leave her alone. Lawrence finally finds a little place, which is actually cute and makes me feel like I need to move around the black parts because that 2-bedroom apartment looks really nice and I can't find nothing like that in the Valley. I'm pissed. That aside, Chad was the highlight of this episode for me, to be quite honest with you. His one line, 2 bedrooms, one for you and one for your feelings, Brian McKnight. Like, he was just so hilarious this episode, and I'm just like, I can't believe that Chad is becoming my favorite character, and I could not stand him last season. Starting to look up for Issa. Her We Got Y'all program is really starting to get students in, and it's flourishing, you know what I mean? However, and just like what we saw with Lawrence last episode, things were looking really good for him, but he was still hung up on Issa. She's still hung up on Lawrence. But matter of fact, she's still hung up on the fact that Lawrence has moved on, so she thinks, with Tasha. So this is when we begin to start stalking Tasha. Here, I also want to talk about the principal and his POC racism, because that's a huge problem just in the people of color community, but also especially out here in LA. I had no idea that there was a lot of black and brown beef. Like, I'm from Philly, you don't see that part. All we see is gangs, you know what I mean? We don't see that Mexicans and black people don't necessarily get along concerning certain generations, and I didn't know that until, like, when I first moved out here. There were certain areas where they were just like, you probably shouldn't move in that area because it's like a Mexican area, and I was just like, oh, I would love to be around, like, I felt like I would be safer in the neighborhood with people who had brown skin than I would in a neighborhood with people who had lighter skin, and I was the darkest one there, you know? That's how it is in Philly. So I was just like, no, I feel like I'll be safer here, and people were just like, oh no, black and Mexican people got beef out here, and I was like, what? So I found out that a lot of it was like gang stuff, and then a lot of it was just like generational issues, and this guy spoke to that generation. And I think with a lot of black people in our families, with older black people, we will find that there are certain kind of biases and discriminatory things and behaviors that they would give to another person of color that's kind of shocking. Like, I know for me, like, my grandma would say some stuff and I would be like, what? Like, I would be so shocked, but I realized that was just like a different time for them, when it was just like, I guess everything wasn't so PC, and I don't say PC in a negative way, but I was just saying that I've seen this with older black people, and it's extremely bothersome. So I'm glad that a character who was outside of that culture can actually look into it and be like, listen, this is an issue. And I get it, if it was a white person, it would be a huge and even bigger issue because of the history, but this is a black person doing this to, you know, to Mexican children, and it still should be a problem. It still should be an issue. And then, like, he gets Issa by herself and he's just like, we gotta stick together. Have we not all been there with somebody who's wanting you to be on board with them? Like, for me, I always get that a lot with, not a lot, but I've always, that we got to stick together and us against them has always come to me at a certain time when it's trying to go against the LGBT community, and it's all about how, like, we black straights got to stick together, and I'm just like, but that's our brethren, you know? So anyway, I was just wanted to talk about this because it really is an issue, and I love the fact that they bring that up. Like, this show really brings up a lot of real issues that we do not see on shows concerning black people, but it's stuff that we deal with on a daily basis. And this people of color on people of color discrimination is a huge problem in the people of color community, and I'm glad that they brought it up. I don't know how they'll address it, but I trust that they'll address it properly. Molly, get your coins. Homegirl's putting on her best white woman voice, you know, and trying to, like, operate in this like hockey game with her boss, because she really is trying to climb her way up the corporate ladder. She's trying to do it like how the white boys do it, but it's just like, you can't, sis. Like, there is like a bro code that we just cannot break. They stick together. If it's not white guys sticking together, it's men sticking together. Can I tell you, men will excel. Like, they will take a black man before they take a black woman up anywhere. So it's a losing, she's fighting a losing battle. Like, she's not going to be able to get this guy over, because we later see her trying to like butter up to her boss, and then seeing how he so easily is able to just connect with another employee who happens to be a white guy. So it's oh, Molly, I see you, sis. I see you, but you are fighting a losing battle. It is not going to work. She actually makes more leeway with her former boss, who was a woman who left to go to Chicago, and she actually ends up asking her if she could work with her, and she's so receptive of it, because that's normally how it is. Like, when we get out of race, gender is probably the strongest force in the workplace. So I was not shocked that her former boss was like, yes, girl, let's work together. Let's do this. Her white male boss that she's trying to butter up to is not even receiving it, because at the end of the day, he does not think, probably because of her skin color, her genital makeup, you know, and how she identifies, that she just won't be able to do the job. And that's just how it is. Oh, Issa is on one. So she didn't stalk Tasha till she found her job, strolled up to the job, and then daydreamed about jalapeno popping her in the head. I hate how relatable this show is. I hate it. Because it's me. Can I just say that there is a stalking theme throughout this episode, because then Issa gets Molly to like stalk Lawrence until he walks, like, I guess she knows like where he walks at from his new job. So she wants her to accidentally like bump into him, and she does. Like, she does everything that she's supposed to do. She bumps into him. She asks him how he's doing. Molly plays this part well. She got the tea, she got the info, and as soon as she was done, she called her friend. But it wasn't the news that Issa wanted. She let her know that Lawrence is just, he's done. Like, there's no moving forward with him, because Molly asked him, she's just like, do you think you guys will get back together? And he's just like, no, although I don't believe that. But for the purpose of the story, Lawrence is done. So then we cut to Lawrence, who is trying to smooth things over with Tasha, and she eventually accepts his apology or whatever. However, I did not enjoy it. It was a good scene, right? But I don't enjoy it because my heart is breaking for Tasha, because I don't feel like Lawrence went over there to smooth things over with Tasha, or to apologize, or to get it right. Lawrence went over there for him because he was Tasha. You know what I mean? Like, Issa did that to him and hurt him. So he went over there to basically do the right thing so that he could be okay. I don't think for one second that he cared about how Tasha would feel throughout this situation, because in this entire relationship with them two together, Lawrence he's self-serving. Like, he's not giving Tasha anything. We think that this great penis is really what she desires. She desires a relationship with him, and in her mind, that's what she thinks that he has. And then she tries to give this line, well, we weren't really exclusive. Girl, you've been exclusive with him. Like, you've been feeling him since he started coming to your bank. Now you got this guy that you have been dreaming about, and now you have created some sort of relationship with him, although it's not the same on his part. So what I did not like about this was that I felt like he was giving her hope. He's coming over and apologizing, not even in a way where, I'm sorry I did this to you, I need to be by myself, because that's what Lawrence needs. Lawrence needs to be alone. He is broken, and he's healing himself through Tasha, and that is not right, because she's thinking that this relationship is something else that it's not. I hope Tasha busts him in his head. I really, really do. I hope we get some type of growth from Tasha at this point, because now I'm invested in Tasha. She's a huge part of this show now at this point for me. So I need to see her be something more than a place where Lawrence dumps his sperm. I really, really do. So now Issa has moved on, okay? Mother is living her life. Her best years are in front of her. She realizes that the door is closed with Lawrence, you know what I mean? And so she settled into that idea. Now she's moving herself, because she was keeping herself on her side because just hoping that he would come back. She's moving her stuff from her side and she's spreading it out to his side. She's sleeping in the middle of the bed now, and she's also texting Luke James on Tinder and just like, you want to have sex. Like, she's texting Luke James booty calls. Like, so at this point, Issa is on doing her hoe season right now. So right after breakup, she gonna start hoeing. Same thing Lawrence is doing, banging out her feelings. And I can't with these two. They are so real and so annoying. I want them to work it out. However, if this means that we are gonna get that chocolate Luke James on this show, I am all here for it. And are we gonna see his behind? Because I've seen Lawrence, but now that we got Luke James on the show, I need to see it too. Okay, I need, give me something else to dine upon with these eyes. Let me stop. My mom watches this. My mom watches this with her whole office. Like, I can't. Hey mom, hey mommy's co-workers. That's where it ends. Next episode, we get to see Issa like awkwardly trying to move into her post-breakup whole season, and it looks like it's going to be just as funny and hilarious and informative and real as this episode. So if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you for the following episode of Insecure. Bye, guys.